All right, we're back. We're live. We're not actually doing Star Citizen stuff today, but I need to grab a light real quick. Alright, so we're looking, let me go in, we're looking at Unity stuff today to see if we can actually port some of the assets that I do like over to Godot. Kind of get an idea of how we're going to go with it. I'm going to, let me just go and update the Twitch real quick here. So I'm going through all my animations. I want to do a first-person rig for the time being. To tie us over until the IK system improvements are good for Godot, so we will have like a separate set of animations, moving to a more unified rig later. But by separating them, we can go into Blender and kind of start doing some animations kind of manually. But there's a few things, we have a whole day to kind of do some fixes. Just gotta go to my dashboard here and kind of get started. I wish it would save all of the history of things. What's our tags? Development, art, game, development, Godot, C#. Yeah, so what is a camera pinger? What is some of this code? Hey, Zons. Morning. What are you working on? So today, I'm taking some of the animation packs that I've purchased in the past from Unity without listening to a podcast. Hello? What are we watching? Nope. Nope. Who'd be talking? Oh, 3D animation. Okay, yeah. So stuff I was watching earlier. Cool. All right. So let's go in and I'll bring up the actual project. So there's a few main bugs that never got finished. I discovered a way of actually implementing the gravity system temporarily. Found a better way of triggering when players are entering and exiting gravitational zones. So let me, I'm just going to go into the test scene, kind of show you what today's madness is going to be. Because right now things are not that playable. Okay, so you don't need a million of these. So this is the test project, right? The US test project, where we kind of have, you know, all the different things. We have our weapons, weapon types. And what I was working on is some custom camera gimbals for when you're in the ship, to take some of the motion and apply it to the camera. So we have this kind of a dynamic camera system. See, it kind of floats a little bit, but I can't free look around anymore. The way that it's kind of fight, like the ship's influence over the camera and vice versa, makes things a little bit unstable, right? Because there's always that kind of lag that's happening. So I need to like undo that. Alright, so context, you know, with Space Game, you could buy, sell cargo, go from place to place. We're not doing like super large planets, you know what I mean? And we're going to be using like a lot of procedural generation. But planets big enough to create, you know, an emphasis on play space. Right, that's kind of the idea, right? Buying and selling cargo, doing everything, but I can't free look around. I'm kind of fighting the camera. I gotta fix that. And I also have like asteroid fields, so I need to get things. We need to go back and finish some of these little small things. Not that a lot of the netcode stuff is working. I've been really more focused on starting to build out a lot of the gray box stuff. But I need to kind of do both. we're just going to head over to this asteroid field here. I want to make sure it's rendering. It is. Okay. Yeah, so let's outfit. Okay, so let's just call this guy. I'm gonna leave this guy in the scene. Yeah, let's actually save one of these out as what we're gonna call a test ship. Let's make this a little bit easier. So the test ship will already have all the weapons, configurations, one of each weapon types. Transport ship. Yeah, instead of player ship transport. Let's do transport ship test box. And because it's going to be our test one, we are going to like just pre-fit it with stuff. It's kind of annoying having to like retrofit the stuff each time. I don't think it would be much cost for each item port to try to find its children if it doesn't exist. Instead of having the manually define item component that's inside itself. Yeah, I think ship hardpoints, because they are a little bit different. Yeah, I don't really think that's going to be a big deal. Especially on Ready. That we can actually check and see when do I start working? Tomorrow. Yeah, so let's try to find a what's our type here? Data component? Yeah, it is 90%. So we can do that. We could just try. What do we have here as children, anyway? The debug collision shape, the mission sensor data. Yeah, now there would be a bit of a cost, unless I put it inside a marker. I'm planning a new project. I talked to some of the other devs who love the planning phase. I find it so hard. I mean, the planning phase is like the most important, so that makes sense. I mean, everything can go wrong at the planning phase. You know what I mean? It could be a bad idea. No! Stupid. Hang on. Coffee. 1 second. out. It's Spaceballs, the towel. I think everyone has like a process of trying to find what. Yeah, absolutely, and that process comes with experience. How often do you start a new project? You know, I mean, projects take a lot of time. They're like the most time-consuming thing, you know. Or like, not a lot of coffee spilled. I'm more worried about the coffee spilled in my shirt because I love coffee. Yeah, Spaceball. Oh, it's Spaceball's the tea towel. Correction. I don't even know what genre I like anymore. I don't even play. Dude, I don't play anything. We play a little bit of SC still. I play a bit of Elite Dangerous, but I'm super bored with Elite. I don't know why. Like, I feel like Elite as FPS, like, as a tack on, so it never feels cool to be immersed in first person in Elite. And then, like, you know, like, Sea of Thieves, another fun game I do like playing. You know what I mean? But I feel like I want to be making games, so I just pretend. I think I'm wrong here in my design of this, but it would be really easy if I am... Yeah, because the idea of these snap points is we just, you know, parent them to the snap point, but I'm kind of worried because there's multiple things inside this anyway, like a miss instance and our collision shape, which defines it anyway, that we should probably use like an independent node, so anything inside that would be the component. I took a concept art. I look at concept art and I tend to like all of it. ArtStation is addicting. ArtStation is really addicting. And did we actually change this? Yeah, like there's so many like optimizations we can make to like this should just be a sphere shape. Because it should just be a distance check. Shape-wise. I like space, turn-based combat strategies, setting up economies. I generally like multiplayer, but I know it's a ton of work to get it off the ground. It's around 4 times whatever your single-player cost would be. Do you buy assets for all these? I make them in Blender. So all of the Unforgiven space stuff. I started off pretty bad at Blender, man. Like some of the earliest models were just basic cockpits. Like I had a concept of what I wanted to do. I know if I have my old models here kicking around from right? But this is the current iteration of the ship. And this is like my main, you know, kind of design scene. No textures, here at least. These are all baked normals. So like for a lot of this stuff, what I do, so let's take, you know, this panel as an example, right? Here's my 2x2 panel. So what the process of going through and making these is you kind of just pick one that you want to start with. Right, so I'll start with something like this, and we'll start with our high poly, right? And we'll make our high poly, and then we'll bake our high poly as a 2K texture, which we can sample down to 1K if we feel the quality constraints are probably, you know, good enough. But 2K 2048 right now on normals. And that's the process, and that gives me more design control, right, of how I literally want these to be. And then you can kind of over exaggerate some of the depth if you want the normals to be like a little bit more stable or whatnot. I remember turning my music down too low. Right, so hopefully that kind of makes sense, right? This process. I am going to get someone eventually to do like more final art substance painter work, but it will be later on in the pipeline of things. Right, and what's cool is like you don't have to worry about polygons here, right? You can just make detail, you know, that you want, right? Make detail in the shape that you want, right? And then reuse these normals. So what I'll end up doing in US is because I just have normals here, the albedo can be a totally separate thing, and I can change the colors out in Godot, right? But what I would like to do is a dynamic shader, depending on the cost, right? Like it depends on like text, like the performance, but like just try to do some of the roughness and scratches and things like that as a layer, and you know, like any wins then you can get trying to optimize this. Just, you know, it's about scalability, right? Yeah, you can like I can go in like here. I won't make changes to this, but let's just go into shading. Not on this one. Right, so let's go back to the original. Right, so we have our normal hooked up, but our base color could be anything. You know what I mean? Right, because all the normal, we're doing all the details on the normal side, right? Like it's like metallic, and you know. So, because variation, I think, is kind of key here, right? Right, it's about scaling. How we scale, right? How do you scale quick? But I still want to add edgeware, right? I want to get that edgeware effect, but you know, as cheap as we can. So I think what's going to end up happening is kind of a two-pass. There'll be a shader that applies diffuse like it normally would, but I'll have a grime and kind of a scratch mat type system that can kind of layer things together. I don't know yet. It's all going to depend, like, you know, if pre-baking is more performant, but when I'm thinking about this, is really like what makes it easier to finish the game, right? Like how do we scale? Right, because you can add a bunch of noise, you can add like a Voronoi texture, add some color ramping, throw it in the roughness. You could do a lot of procedural materials in Blender, but it just, you know, everything is going to add to your cost, right, of how long it will take you in total to kind of get things done. So that's that. But I think for these weapons, especially ship weapons, there's nothing wrong, I think, already with having to auto-configure it. If you can get most of the effect for cheap techniques you're set, that's always the goal, right? So let's do a check mount. Check snap point. And we'll just say if get parent is a snap point, this will only, I don't know if we're using the iSnap point interface. Yeah, because they all just inherit. That's in the item namespace. And it's only optional, so just if, you know, we have a snap point, we'll just do an auto attach for ship weapons. I don't really think we even need to notify the user of that. It's just going to be it. So if the ship weapon is already in a snap point, and if a snap point already exists, then return. And yeah, so it'll just automatically attach these weapons. Transport ship test. And am I still running 1 million copies of the game? I am. I wish I could manually set the current, like the total running instances. Depending on what scene I'm in, like manually turn this off and on depending on if I'm in the multiplayer view or not. So what we'll do is we'll make this test ship. Oh, it didn't attach. Interesting, and the snap point. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, makes sense. Yeah, these should technically just be frozen by default. So they're doing the attach, but they're not causing the two-way. So dark in the game. Yeah, so let's just do a little test here and clear this item component and clear this snap point. And just see if the auto snap to their snap points when we start. If they're not defined, that is. Alright, now let's fix the planetary gravity. So the player set gravity, so we know that we're in planetary gravity, and we know that we're in ship gravity if we leave. maybe I don't remember fixing this. Oh, okay. So we just entered the ship gravity from the planet. And that's what's causing us to... okay. So... the hierarchies are not being honored. So player for type ship. Right, because we want to... yeah. We... yeah, so it's really just like... right, the highest priority, gravity. Oh, maybe it's the other way around. Maybe like the ship always says the highest priority if we're in the ship, then the station, and then the planet. Yeah. Because when we're in the ship and the ship's in the planet, did you mess around with the front end? I did until I broke it. I broke it so bad that I'm like no idea. Like yeah. So let's invert the gravity types because they're also the gravity priorities, and I have a feeling that I got it backwards. So it should just be ship, station, planet. I need to rotate. We need to rotate the. We need to put the. No. What are we? Are we 0G right now or in gravity? Enter the ship. Area shit. Okay, so it's saying that the right. So it's we were right. The hierarchy was wrong. Yeah. Okay. So it should be the other way around. But the planet Right, so we successfully go from ship to station fine. But we're not going from ship to gravity. When ship is in gravity, when we leave, we're not automatically going, we're not going back into ship when planet is set. Like the ship gravity must be higher priority than the station. Which must also have higher priority than the planet, which it does. Yeah, like this is flawless. I need a box. Probably not affected by the collision to the box, probably not. Out of the way, trucker. Turret's affected by gravity. Yeah, it's gotta be when we're registering the player on planet. So player is dark gravity, a final player to me. So all gravities. Alright, so we're just kind of paused here in quantum. Right, so they are still they're still on the ship, so that's good. So the player status, gravity areas is still fine right now. We're still good. So let's see what happens when we register the planet. I don't know why that never resized. And why didn't that resize? What is it doing? Still registering the camera effects of the ship. It's fun. Okay, so while we're being pulled down, let's pause it. Oh, interesting. If you like pause it, oh, that's what's messing up the rescaling. The game being paused. Its actions taken while the game is paused. Makes sense. So player status now is in 2 gravity volumes. So we're still in the ship, which is correct. And we should be in the planetary gravity, which we are. So it really, the only thing that's left, because we're still like right now honoring the ship gravity and it's fine, but when we leave and we're on the planetary gravity, yeah, and then we just enter the right, so it's just the behavior that happens when we enter the ship from the planet. So if our system already contains, if our status effects already contain planetary gravity, and we've entered the ship, we need to make sure we're aligning to the ship and not just considering ourselves to be in 0G. Which seems to be what's happening now. We just had this weird edge case where when entering, and I think it's just the because of the status, get highest priority gravity area. Used by the ship stations for force remove gravity area. And we have our check, but isn't doing anything right now. Where are we getting the yellow on the station gravity area? Right. When the area gets changed from ship to station, this is happening fine. when we were switching. Let me actually remove some of this debug stuff. Yes, we're still on gravity, yeah. Is there a default game namespace? Nope. Let's make something real quick. Are you using some super wide monitor? I am, but for viewers' pleasure, I can actually just do this and switch back and forth. But if I'm showcasing like the game side by side with multiple instances in multiplayer, it's easier to just switch between them. The monitor? It's a pain. I spent a lot of money to get a Rode X streamer, a Rode Streamer X to capture it, and it ultimately never worked. So I still have to pipe this monitor using teleport, which sucks. Right, so the main monitor is still using like an OBS, like my old OBS. I'm just teleporting it over, which is like an NDI solution. But my drawing tablet is actually directly being captured on the streaming PC, which is fine. So if I really need the performance, because what was happening, while I'm running this OBS with the main gaming PC, like it uses, you know, it was using like, you know, NVIDIA broadcast and the background removal and all that crap was bogging them the game development pretty much when I was running many instances of the game. But it seems to be fine for just streaming out one display capture, and I can remove a lot of this stuff on this side as well. So I still have my streaming PC right running, and I still have my capture and all that stuff going through, but I just don't have like, I still have like effects, right? So I still have all the effects stuff, and I don't know what half the stuff does. Beeps apparently. But I haven't had a chance to play around with any of it. I want like a game singleton for a custom logging solution. Like a lot of the times I'm just pushing stuff, you know, into the console, and I want to selectively turn off and on things that I'm actually like pushing to the console. So to-do list. .gd for GD script. I don't use GD script. And those are scene files. TSCN are just scene files. Because everything's a scene, right? Scenes inside scenes inside scenes. Alright, so we can change this to 16:9. Yeah, because it's the same concept as prefabs, right? Your game object itself is a scene that is instantiated in a scene, You know, like when I spawn a cargo box, you know what I mean? Like, let's go spawn in a couple of cargo boxes. Right, the cargo box itself is a scene. So it's just nested scenes all the way around, which is exactly what a Unity prefab is. Only in Godot, there's no distinction. Right, it's not called a prefab in Godot. It's just another scene. Now, I still use prefabs as a name to designate my game objects versus, like, I still think scenes should be literally, you know, scenes of the game, you know? But so now that I've turned off that debugging, I just want to go and we need to see what's causing the behavior. Like, are we actually getting the right triggers going from ship gravity into planet gravity? Because if we can get these fixed today, then players would appreciate it that are testing. And then I can fix the camera stuff. Right? Because we have, like, our planet is being registered correctly. So I just left gravity. Right? Oh, planet is fine. Ship is fine. Interesting. It's so weird because this is actually working. We're only getting the triggers happening correctly when we are actually entering. But for some reason, we're still in 0G. It still thinks we're in 0G in the ship when we're applying the ship gravity. Do I hear a Newfie accent? You do hear a Newfie accent. That's wild, because I don't really have that much of an accent. Now my sister, being, you know, from what we would call it around the Bay, oh, okay, you're from Newfoundland as well. Hell yeah. Yeah, Mount Pearl. I'm originally from a very small place in the middle of nowhere on the north side. Yeah, so you're in Central, and this is not as well like about the game. This is like the gray box version of the game, where we're. Let me actually. I guess it should take some time to actually bring up the. This is the multiplayer kind of test project. This is what the game will look like. Are you a game dev as well, decommissioning? We live on an island in the middle of nowhere. There's not much else to do, you know? Have a beer, you know, remake Star Citizen. Right, so still a lot of test assets, but this is what the ship actually looks like if we move it over. Right, so these are the all the components. I dabble in C++, but I wouldn't say I'm a dev. Cool. Yeah, if you ever want to like learn Godot on a C++ level, there's definitely a lot of changes you can make to it. I have a bucket list of like mild stuff I'd love to see added. That just, you know, getting a PR, an open source project, is a bit rough, you know. Alright, so this is what the game will look like, you know, when we get closer to final. The IK stuff needs to be redone completely. We're waiting. Godot is in the process of redoing all their IK nodes, so like a lot of the stuff is going to end up being like redone. I'm just going to wait for that system to go online before I do a lot of the procedural animations for ADS and all that kind of stuff, because it'll work fine. But right now, using the default skeletal IK in Godot, there's weird orderings depending on how the scene tree is set up, so not gonna worry too much about it. Actually, I haven't actually finished the, but yeah, you can, you know, the idea is you can go and, you know, customize your own little habitation module. Yeah, all in Blender. Everything we do here is all custom. So you have all these like snap points. This snap point system is the exact system used on the ships. Gotta have your beer, you know, your space black horse. But yep. And there's like a rock crusher that I'm working on over here. We'll go back into level here just so you can kind of... So many different station module types, right? With different mechanics. So this is like a hospital module. You know, the probably a lot faster than Eastern Health. You know what I mean? Getting some service, but yeah. So you have your very cliche, you know, repair, like kind of healing stations and back to tanks. But this is like a test prototype station. All the got any India beer in the game? I need to come up with some brands that are actually kind of fun. But the idea is like you can rescue people, you know, NPCs, kind of bring them, you know, into the medical facility and, you know, kind of save them. Many different mission types, right? There's security, where you gotta incapacitate an NPC, and or player, or, you know, like bounty missions where you had to, the same thing, right? Incapacitate a player and bring them from like A to B. We have a rock crusher prototype. That's a prototype stuff. You got a nice bit of the game dev done though. Very nice. A lot of the systems, right, are online and working. Let me actually show you. And I have a Patreon set up for like funding things. So and the Patreon is always slowly growing. $5 gives you access to the test builds, helps fund the project. But let me let's go in online. I'll just show you how it works. We might want to run a few instances. Tree's fine. Yeah, a lot of systems are online. I'm going to try to get the grant this summer, the Canadian Experimental Fund, you know, funding, which is so monotonous. So check this out. So I'm going to join here with Revere. We're also going to join, we'll use decomposing. And decomposing is purple, so just pick a purple. Alright, so we can see, just give it a second for all the, so there we go, we have multiple players, all the IK works. Right, weapons are working, all the look IK. Right, it's all working. And then we can head over here. Alright, so we can shut down you know, we shut down satellites, buy cargo, do deliveries. I'll show you like the very basic, right? So this is like this is a test world, right? Nothing too crazy about it. So let's do like, you know, very simple pick up, drop off mission. And the lag you're seeing is because I'm running just a, you know, a bunch of these on the Alright, so we just did a little mission. And bring the other character over. So it doesn't matter who buys cargo or sells cargo, it's all like dynamic authority. So check this out. So I'll buy like 2 gas. And then I'll just kinda do 2 processed food, 2 metal. You can see they're all stacking up here dynamically. I can grab them, move them around, snap them in place in the cargo grid. It all works, right? I can literally just switch from player to player, and you know, whoever grabs it, you know, has authority over it. So we come over here, right? We can play, you know, toss the box around. Bro, I need one of those in real life. I know, right? Just the old tractor beam gun. So yeah, so we'll head over here and we'll just spawn in a ship. Right, so you know, I can jump in my own ship. You see all the animations are working, they're in the seat. Right, it's all online, it's all working. I can take off, land, you know, it all works. And we can change roles, so like if I want to, we can just jump out and we can switch. Right, and this is all working. So what I'll do just next here, just yeah, so we'll take this guy and we'll put him in the co-pilot seat. Right, so now we have a buddy, like we have a buddy here with us. I don't know what the flashlight is, T or something, L, I don't know, T. Yep, so he's there doing his thing. And we can take off, and it's not, now the quantum effects are not synced right now. I don't know why. Oh, because the ship statuses are not synced. And the game that I don't have focused runs at pretty crap frame rate because I don't have focused. And ignore the camera, like the weird camera effects. I'm trying to get some camera motion on the ship, but it's obviously clipping through the player. Yeah, like literally, like have you watched Firefly? So think like Cowboy Bebop and Firefly, you know, kind of like space western, right? Space Sea of Thieves, you know, buying cargo, selling it, doing some piracy, doing some, you know, some space weed, some space moonshine. Right, so whether you're silent running, doing some, right, it's very sandboxy, right? Is to give you your own kind of like Star Wars kind of experience, but very smaller scope, right? The idea is each star system has its own reputation system, and you know, as you're going through each of the systems, you're gaining reputation. Interesting, yeah. So it is the priorities, because we are in gravity. Yeah, so like when we, yeah, so it's exactly, it's the opposite effect in multiplayer, where if I enter the ship, Okay, same problem. Okay, good. So we gotta fix the ship gravity when the ship itself is on a planet. It's not fixing itself. But yes, and you can take off all the components of the ship, upgraded, like very like a mechanic simulator. Like everything in the ship can be fully customized. So what I mean by that, let me just go into Blender. And we'll go into the design. Right, so every little thing about the ship, right, so you have a fuel scoop, which is kind of like used, you pretty much use stars, right, the different stars, you can kind of like fly around them, that'll like kind of like work to use the reactor here. This is the main power plant. So power plant is limited by cooling, right, the power plant's job, at least in my universe, is to convert some of the hydrogen that we're scooping, you know, into pure hydrogen. How do you get the stars? What do you mean? They're in the middle of the station, or the universe, like the star system. Literally, like you just, you know, go fly around the sun, or just buy fuel. Because, you know, if you're gonna go scooping stars, that's like if you're gonna, you know, like Elite Dangerous style fuel scooping, that means pirates could also kind of be, you know, close to that area, knowing that you're going to run out of fuel, and you know, that could be a good spot. You could jump on something, obviously. So you have your so you have your fuel scoop, fuel intake. Different quality parts dictate either quality of fuel or a speed at which you're actually, like, you know, like gaining fuel, but it'd be like a lower burn, right? And you also have then your behind this main batteries for all your electronic systems. But the cool, you know, all of the cooling stuff goes up into the wings. Those wings that you see in the other project, the ones here in the test scene as an example, like, you know, these are actual like cooling fins on the outside. So, you know, when you're being like hit by a missile, there's a high chance the wing is going to take it just by design. But if you lose the wing, you know, you lose, you know, pretty much your cooling capacity for that engine, and you know, and for your components, so you're kind of in a little bit of trouble. But you'll be able to kind of, you know, whimper out of there, you know, other than like taking more missile hits directly and getting destroyed. So the idea is, all, you know, if you do get a better power plant, right, which has more power output, then you need, you know, greater cooling, right, and grading, you know, cooling efficiency, and everything has a cost, right? So it kind of balances itself within its own ecosystem, because it just kind of depends, right? And each of the components also have like an IR signature as well. So if you get components that are like really good for silent running, they're also very ineffective, right? So they'll take you longer to refuel, you know, but you're also more stealthier. So, you know, it's like risk versus reward. How do you want to kind of go about it? But the idea is you can pull off all these components and upgrade everything, right? And for the early phase of the game, I'm just going to make 3 different variations of each component to create like a medium tier, low tier, and high tier of what the gameplay expectations would be, kind of just for testing purposes. But yeah, the exterior shell, right, has all the component bays that you know. And the cool thing is I can create many different variations of different ships with different engine configurations, because the ship itself is pretty, you know, square, other than the you know, the cockpit exterior itself. You know, it's you know, all metrics are down to the meter, so it's very easy to scale this, right, and create different variations of the ship that has different looks, different cockpit styles, you know. So I'm hopefully doing good on that aspect of things. right? Because it's so much easier to have an artist than design, right? Like the different makes of the same size, like same medium class ship, and so that all of that was kind of taken into consideration when designing a lot of these systems. Yeah, so that's like the general gist of things. Yep. Solo for now. I'm gonna try to hire an artist full time. You know, I found one from Vancouver, but I want to get more tooling done first. Like what I've made so far is like we have our own Delta patcher, so we have our own game launcher that I made that we can log in, connect to Patreon. Right, and it automatically pulls latest version of the game. So launcher is check. So this speeds up the time that it takes me to deliver, you know, a lot of this stuff. And I have a whole CI/CD pipeline kind of set up, you know, for the studio. Second tool that we're working on, or we've been putting a lot of work on this week, but I've taken a break from it, is Space Edit. And Space Edit is going to be like a huge aspect of Unforgiven Space's development, I feel, if I keep going in like the path of this. So let me just show you Space Edit real quick. There should be a few artists in Stephenville. Oh, it's really Teach 3D stuff at Kona. That's true. So check this out. This is Space Edit, and Space Edit is a full like online level editor that will integrate with the project. And what I'm going to do, and what's cool about it is, check this out. I can host a session. I can go ahead and join. So here I am, you know, as another player, as Revere, as player 2. And I can actually go in and load up a level that I was working on in Space Edit. So this is a level that I started working on. And what's cool is I can just start working on this collaboratively. See? Right? Placing prefabs. You see I just made this back ball here. Right? And all this stuff that's like kind of junk. I don't know what half of this stuff is or why I created it, but hey, you know, whatever. See? So it's a fully collaborative editor environment, right, that I'm going to be using to try to scale up the speed that we can, like, you know, create assets. This is just gray box. I put a couple of gray box models in here, but this will use this will eventually have a full scripting language for dynamically placing like objects and distributing things, and you know, I'll be able to go into a mode if I'm like, we even have like custom, you know, inspector plugins and things for it. So the, you know, the idea is that, you know, let's try to alleviate some of the time in the engine itself, you know, making some of this stuff. Right, I can put lights down and you know, try to get, if I can get even the community itself helping with some of the like level stuff, then I mean, total time saver, right? So my goal is I want to make, I'm working on like an LFS repo. Hey David. Where an artist can go and work on their art assets and then push them to the repo. When they're pushed to the repo, they get turned into space objects. They don't have any collisions or anything. They're just, their origin point and everything is all kind of, you know, just set on them. And then they can go into Space Edit, log in, same patching system, but logging in to Space Edit will bring up all of the you know, art assets that are on the web and pull them down, and then they can immediately be played with. So, you know, that's what I've been investing a little bit of time into, you know, this like last few weeks or so. because I think ultimately it'll be a good tool. And if you think about it, like I could use this system for doing you know, base building and stuff like that in the game, like in the future, if we decide to go that way, right? Because it's all here anyway. You know what I mean? It's kind of building our own tooling around it. And then from like a game management, you know, you can, you know, as an administrator, you know, go into this mode while you're playing the game, because this whole editor will be built into the game, and change things, you know, in kind of like real time on the server. So that's what I'm hoping is I need to work on what's called a zone system, which will kind of, you know, create a region, and everything inside that region gets saved as its own. How do you save the data? Just a JSON format. So because a space object, the idea, Jamal, is that a space object itself is a container format. So by a container format, like a space object just has a let's do got head out. Have a good one decomposing. So the idea is that a space object just has an ID, right? A unique ID for the art asset. So thanks for the follow. Right, and then it has a selector. It has its rotation, and this is a enum because we're not actually storing the real rotation in this sense, because everything is within the 1 meter voxel grid of everything. To make things easier, you can still. The idea is you'll have grid position and then subgrid placement within the grid position, so you can still move things around artistically. You know, we have the block type, and the idea is that like a block has our synchronizer, you know, whatever this cube is here, which is the real thing. I don't know why this is the real object, but the idea is that anything at all can be put inside a space object, and it could have scripts, it could have game data, it could have anything. It's meant to be agnostic, whatever this thing is. But when you're done like editing the level, right, it'll still keep its JSON configuration of the space of the scene itself, or the prefab, but it'll bake the level into its own scene and drop all the items that's inside the space object into the scene. So the output becomes a scene that appears to have never been edited, you know what I mean, in a traditional Godot fashion, right? And you know, and a space object itself becomes this very dumb container format, right? So that way, like when I have a light as an example, the a light itself is nothing but right, see. Right, so a light is only literally a space object itself with a light inside it as a container type. Right, so you know, it just happens to have a light in it, so it can be moved around and it affects the environment. Does, you know, does what lights do. If I could not select the light, thanks. So you see it's you know, working as a light. But I do want to be able to edit the properties. So the way the inspector system works, when I select the space object, we do a little bit of reflection or a bit of casting to see what object is inside it, and if that type happens to be a light, right? If there's a light, you know, we just do a function every time we select something. You know, if it is a light inside it, or you know, a bunch of primitives, right? Then we can change the values of those so that when they're dropped into the level afterwards, it's saved, and those properties will be saved as metadata on the space object, but not hard coded. You know what I mean? Like the idea is to make the editing tool support a whole bunch of metadata that attaches to space objects, but don't like codify it. You know, like make this whole thing be a very simplistic, you know, system of object placement in a multiplayer setting. I recently refactored my save system to separate like the character data from the world data. Yeah. I remember in the old days when we were making MUDs, we used to like save all the players' items inside their own player file. And it was really interesting because when they would load in, they would have all their world data in their player file too, right? So they would load in and all the things that they left around, thousands of blocks, thousands of rooms away, right, would all come back, right? Because it was all like all of their own items, regardless of where they were placed, room-wise, were still all saved. They were saved inside their player file. So this is Space Edit, and it works. Like I can save and load. That's all that really matters right now. But I'm trying to like create a bit of separation, like so like there is actually a unique set of objects for lights and for other things that are still space objects, but to make it a little bit easier to kind of select things. So I'm trying to rethink some of this UI, but this is all very much work in progress. Yeah, character data is all persistent, but world data, I'm just like rewriting things that belong to the scene you're currently in. Andrew Mole, are you using Godot as well now? Were you originally using Unity? Alright, so anyway, we gotta get back to what we were supposed to be doing. But yeah, like I think the progress is coming along pretty good for a lot of the stuff, so I'm pretty happy with everything. I like Unity. I like still Unity. So I ported my whole project over from Godot. That's all 600 C# scripts. And you know what's funny? Most of this stuff was one-to-one in Godot. There was such slight differences, right? With like triggers already have like on-body enter, on-body exit, like magic methods, whatever you want to call them, right? And in Godot, you really just you remember I ported some of my systems to Unreal just for fun, but I just don't like Unreal. You look like I have no idea who that is, Jakku. Lucas. Some people say I look like Walter White. I don't think I look like Walter White though. Yeah, Lucas Lipka. How are you doing, Jakku? Yeah, it's been pretty. It's been surprisingly pretty good. I definitely have my complaint list, but it hasn't been entirely show-stopping. Remove. Wait a second. Oh, when we were in multiplayer a second ago, we were actually getting null on the ship gravity areas. Interesting. I wonder if players don't have their status system. So you're just using like C# and no GD script? I won't touch GD script. I won't even learn it. Yeah. I've had no need. That was my reaction as well. I mean, I still support, if someone wants to write, a gameplay loop in GD script, I don't really care. But still, I'll stick with Unity until I feel otherwise. Yeah, until there's like a reason. There's no reason to change until... I don't know, Unity keeps doing shady shit though. I think there was a whole, like, I don't know if you saw some of the studio updates where one of the studios was, I think they're getting ready to move to like a different engine, and I don't know, Unity is trying to like go after the runtime fees for like, you know, players that are like supposed to be, you know. Okay, we need to check that we're only doing the gravity and the authority. Okay, it has a server problem. If it's null or empty. I wish there was like an is empty on like a... Could make your own extension methods. For which? Oh yeah, for is empty. I mean, it is just a count of 0, but still. It's gotta be the behavior of the ship gravity area itself. When we're entering, not doing anything. Or registering itself whenever we enter. And we're removing it. Or is it a default behavior? No, and it's not a default behavior of the gravity area. Is export like serial field? It literally is the same thing. Anything that's an export exposes itself here in the inspector. Exactly, and what's lovely is if you go to resources here, like I made an entire shop system. Check this out. So resources, shops, item component shop. So here's like a furniture store. Joe's furniture store, and these are the components that Joe's computer store has. And like, you know, like this is the actual like item for that component. So there's a supply of 1,000, a demand of 1,000, and like, you know, here's the actual, you know, furniture item. This is literally like scriptable objects. I literally like copied all of this one-to-one from you know, like from pretty much Unity, and like remade all of the same components. But it's literally like Godot resources are exactly the same as scriptable objects. So you know, if you have a one-to-one parity of scriptable objects to resources, and everything, you know, can extend from resource, and you know, you really, like, I haven't found anything, you know what I mean, that I haven't found any discrepancies. I have not found anything that Godot does super different than Unity in a super different way. I just recently started making systems that decouples from Unity engine itself, so mostly pure, right? So that's like very similar in Godot, right? Like in Godot, a lot of 3D things either inherit a node or a node 3D or a resource, right? But for a lot of stuff, you know, it's the same thing, right? Trying to decouple from mono behaviors is really good logic, even in Godot, you know, like trying to do your own systems and your own, like, you know, especially if it doesn't, like, you can even like use some interesting things, like if you want to build, like, Godot has a like one script per node style system that kind of enforces a lot of composition. You don't have many scripts on one object. That's not how Godot goes. But you can still have multiple nodes that can have multiple scripts, and they can be all organized through composition. Yeah, I'll make a system decoupled from like mono, and then if I need it on a mono, I'll make a separate container, and I'll reference it there. Because you can even, like, if you have a script and it's on a game object, you could even inherit from ref counted, which is like Godot's default internal garbage collection system, so that when an object's no longer in use, it just gets cleaned up. Right. So I don't know. There's so much. There's a lot of freedom of you know, like things you could do. So we can see if we're actually getting errors. I wish I could close the sessions like once you open them. Yeah, I think the issue is like I don't have a default behavior for when we do actually enter ship gravity. I'll probably look into GD in the future. It's very Pythonic. What do you mean Godot itself? I think it's going to gain traction. I mean, it's always gaining traction, you know, so far. But I still think there's things it needs. I've been able to work around a lot of those limitations, though. So, you know, yeah, I don't know why we're. I feel like I need to just give this a run. Yeah, maybe we're not using. I don't think we're using this anymore. These two methods. We're using the status system instead on multiplayer. Because on station gravity, well, we're actually checking to see if we're a player. Yeah, we're setting our gravity area. Yellow station gravity is under. What ship has been defined? So we are setting the gravity area when we enter for stations. We're not. I don't see where we're triggering the alignment. In the indie space for sure, for mainstream AAA or AA, I think it needs more time to mature. Oh yeah, it has no pipelining support. Like, I think as studios build up things, I mean, that's kind of what I've been slowly but surely working towards, you know? Like when we open the new tab here, you know. Right, so I'm slowly like working towards, you know, building up things studio-wise. By the way, for the motherboard part, how are you saving the data? Using a database? Or are you storing some things locally? For testing, a lot of things are stored locally, but we have a full, like, there's a whole service API that all the player data is saved to, like, every 5 minutes or so. Unless there's a manual call, right, like so what I've been working on lately is I have my own repo set up for the studio. So here's like the main game and all the changes that we're actually making to it, which is fine because now I've kind of I have a lot of the let's go into project settings here. Apparently I can't English today. Settings, wiki, releases, settings. Yeah, so all the LFS stuff here is now working. And I can now use my actions. So I haven't set these up yet. But what I have done is I set up an entire like kind of a pipeline system. So if we go into Alright, so here I have maybe I don't afford you. So yeah, so I'm trying to get the runners working right now. Yeah, okay, so there isn't one running. So check this out. So this is what I've been working on. So I have my build server. Here's where I automatically put the build, right? If I go into Unforgiven space and we do an export and we do the dedicated server build, which is fully stripped, right? This part is a part of the automation now that I need to do. Right, so I export this to the builds. This will go ahead and override it. Right, publish it. While that's doing its thing. So this is what I need to get working. So if I do, we went to my deployment, go to mount. Yeah, so in the builds, we have our Unforgiven space server, and this deploy script. Right, this automatically pulls down the latest version of Ubuntu LFS, sets up the Docker container, copies my Godot headless server into my user local bin Godot headless, and automatically stages up the the dedicated server. So now, if we take a look here, right, we should now have the US server running. Oh, it's on page 2 there, right? And if I go into log, this is all runtime logs of the server running right now. So if I give it a second, it'll start like running, ticks. If I never broke it. And I can just, if I redeploy it, it's just instantaneous. And if we go into the game, regularly, right, so if I go to multiplayer and not pick local, Bum, 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 bum. Yep, for testing. So multiplayer, no local, join. I'm now on the dedicated server. And if we go back into the Portainer, I don't know why the logs are erroring out. Because these are, oh no, it's going. Right, so this is continuously going through. I don't know what that one random bug is. But this should be like, you know, here we are, we're live, we're connected. NPCs are doing their thing. Yeah, normally this is continuously updating. I don't know why it's not right now. It's yeah, it's like not sending. I'm sure, but we're also like in the middle of breaking everything, so you know. But that's kind of what I'm trying to get working now, which I have on another project, like a test project, is when we push the master, it automatically redeploys everything, right? So we push the master. The second we push the master, it runs the hooks, pulls the build, you know, restarts the US server, and it's pretty. You know, the goal is the second we push the master, a PR, the client build and the client API is updated, and the server build is already fully, you know, up and restarting. It's like not clearing this log. Like I get the mesh, like so these mesh warnings are because I'm clearing all meshes on the server. The server only like has, you know, the data of what it needs, right? Like all mesh data is stripped, all graphics are stripped, all so when it's trying to do like, oh, there we go, it just updated. Maybe it doesn't auto refresh. Yeah, look, because these are all the like prison time. Can I stop scrolling? Yeah, this is us leaving gravity. So it's like working. The logs are working. But I don't know why they're being weird. Right, and we can see all the stats of the server because it's only running the server. Right, so we can see the memory usage per player. We can actually compare the memory usage with the, you know, actual throughput of, you know, what's being done in I/O. So it's kind of cool, right? We can kind of see via number of NPCs and number of connected players, like how things are kind of behaving, and you know, we can kind of query this and then just restart it if we need to. Right, just boot, and then that's it, done, rebuilt. But it's just, we gotta automate the deployments of this stuff, right? So that this all gets hooked with an action. So I need to get this stuff, or this path. I need to get a ForGeo action that connects, you know, to the actual like build environment, you know, runs the Docker deploy. And that should be pretty much. It makes it a lot easier for being able to get things working very quickly. We're not getting anything done today. We need to figure out why ship gravity is not like aligning itself. Like the station gravity does. I don't really see the difference, yeah, because I know there's an align to gravity function that gets triggered. It must be on the player. When we run the gravity area. Oh my god. Really? Yeah, these are the different situations where we need to realign them. So from going from the station and from going from, you know, setting ship gravity from space. Yep. So we just really need to like, and really we probably can just, you know, we could just do this for both edge cases. Or there we go. What the hell? I didn't go. What? Thanks. Copilot, you're great sometimes, but you know. This band reminds me of like Wind Hand. Hey, Brain Space. So now we're doing the align to gravity if we're in the ship or the station. So hopefully now we're actually good. And this align to gravity just needs to be applied to the. Well, let's just test it real quick in single player, and then we'll just apply it. Because I knew I had all the triggers of this stuff working. It's just, there's a few little things I need to do. I should have like finished this before I moved on to something else. So we are in a station. We are entering a ship. Right, so a manual line was called. Right, manual line. Okay, so we're good. Seems fine. Seems fine. Let's go to a planet. Brain Space, did you see the work I've been doing on my editor? A little space edit. Not recently. I know you've seen it at all. Let's go down no planet. I can't wait to fix this camera jitteriness. Alright, so let's come down, land. Because I want it to refix itself on the ship. Okay, so we leave. Okay, we're planet gravity and we're good. We enter the ship. So yeah, a manual align should have been called for the ship, but we're still in 0G and broken. Does the manual align have a its own checks and balances? So when we were removing the gravity area, monolithic space gravity area, we remove the gravity area and we set the gravity area and they're both empty. Oh, for the network player. Okay, that was from before. Stupid errors. Yeah, it's so weird that like it's saying that we're running in alignment unless we don't. Right, the gravity area is not known. Number either a station or a ship, or the gravity area type. Then align the gravity area this direction. Like, I've simplified this to a point that it should be done. Oh, thanks. The glasses. Yeah, is that trigger? Right, unless the ship gravity area doesn't have a direction. But it should. Hey, you said is gravity area not null, but you had it can be null. Wait, no. Yeah, what am I thinking? If gravity, yeah. Oh, the existing gravity area. Yeah, yeah, for the player. Because the gravity area, like the player hasn't been defined, the gravity area yet. It gets set afterwards. So the one coming in, if it's a station or a ship, this align. Crazy, like this align is being triggered, but just right manual alignment called for this gravity direction. It's all good then. It's really weird, such a weird behavior. And like the state things. Close this out. That empty testing. Better ship. Unless I have a theory. I have a theory that the gravity direction is not global, and that the gravity direction is local, and that when we're entering it, the gravity direction for the alignment is wrong. I'm going to prove this by just jumping on the North Pole. I'm going to see if there's like a difference. Right, so we are in ship gravity. Okay, we're in planet gravity. I could ignore ship gravity when we're on the planet, but, you know. Okay, we're obviously aligning ourselves still, so we're good. We're on the curvature of the planet, running around. Looks good. So I'm curious now when we jump in, if we align to a local version of that gravity direction, and if we're still like walking around. No? Yes. It is. So watch. So it's a world gravity vector. Aha, right? Because we are not quite on the, you know, like we're a little bit on the, not quite the North Pole. So we're like, oh, ship, I need to align to your, you know, gravity vector. Well, your gravity vector is local to itself, so that becomes a world. Yep, then when we leave, let me just realign the character real quick. I think that's actually what's happening is. So when we leave, yeah, we're aligned to the planet. And we can tell we're aligned to the planet because as I'm kind of tilting and trying to tilt, it is self-correcting ourselves correctly. When we jump in, aha. Yeah, okay, that's exactly it. And then when we leave, okay, cool. So that's the issue, is our align, this gravity vector is not necessarily, yeah, because our area's gravity, this gravity direction, I think is the built-in. Because I think these are all print hello world. Yeah, so I think we are using the Area 3D's own gravity vector. Do we have any more gravity areas here? Yeah, because we're pulling gravity direction from itself. So our gravity direction. Let me just take a look here. Direction. On Area 3D, that is. This must be local. Alright, so for overriding gravity, or like, oh cool, let's go. Are you taking ideas from chat? Generally. So we really, when we're aligning this, we need to actually convert this. To world space. And I think what we'll do is we'll just use, maybe we'll just create a method on the actual gravity area itself. Get world gravity direction. And then we'll get return gravity direction. To normal. To global gravity direction. Because this will be based upon our own transform itself of the area. Yeah. So get world gravity direction of the, and then on our alignment, it'll only be for ships, I think, that will actually do this. So in the players, and for stations for that matter, yeah, stations and ships can do that. Right, so this direction, yeah, Direction, default gravity direction, if rotation is locked. So this needs to be global. So let's just do it world gravity direction. Hey Fusion. And let's see if that works on planet side. I have the launcher running in the Steam Deck. Does it run slow? Moment of truth. Whoa. What? Why is our world gravity direction weird for stations now? Hang on. Let's get out into the 0G here. Okay. Are we good? Alright. So that was weird. These logins. Wait, why does it align us? It aligns us perfectly adjacent to the station. So moving the gravity direction to local of itself? No? No dice? We could do global transform basis times gravity direction. And in that case, I might as well just be a global basis, so that's fine. That's weird. These logins forgot.com. You can create an account right there in the launcher. Why did I extend this gravity area so far? Okay. So that's the basis of that gravity area. Let's do the planet. With the ship. Technically entering the ship now should be the same thing. What we need to do is put the ship in a weird situation. Let's see if we stick this thing. Like I have all these collisions turned off for the ship. Must be something that I've set the ship to bang into. Oh, actually, let's just leave the ship alone. Okay. So 0G, and we're going to go in sideways. Okay, there's no gravity in the ship, but the alignment works. Wait, why? Why is the gravity not right? We got the basis working, but hello? Why are we being aligned to here? Yeah, because its own gravity should be affecting us in the ship. ship gravity override's not working? Space override in place. Why is the ship gravity area not its own scene? Fusion, remind me to do a password reset feature. Okay, there we go. Let's leave, turn upside down. Okay. Oh, wait. Wait a second. I'm an idiot. I'm like, wait a second, it's aligning us to the right gravity. However, it's pushing us to the ceiling. So it must automatically be a minus of the direction. Oh, okay. It's 1 minus 0. Okay. I'm just being crazy. Up, minus 9.8. It's like we're not actually having issues. We just have a lot of things not working. We gotta reset a lot of these things. Okay, I feel the stronger gravity now. Alright. Thing is, I don't want the player to like our player is pushing ourselves around. Yeah, okay, minus 9.8. It's so it aligns to the gravity direction, but doesn't like apply the downward force correctly. It just like pushes me up. So I was like, that part works. Right, on register, nothing happens. You had to go back and just log in with it once you've registered. It doesn't give you confirmation that it's been registered. Just go back and use what you've done to log in. If you made a test account. Linear diameter space override. Yeah, that's what we're using on the station. You tried? Tried it. You might be trying to use a username that already exists. Like if you try like a bunch of tests with random password and register, go back, try that username and password. Nothing? -1. Maybe it's not. No. Yeah, this is exactly the same. Working duplicate user. Yeah, 9.8 -1. And the station works fine. But this is local. Oh, so just getting the gravity direction. So they're separate. Right, gravity point, gravity override. Right, so if we're doing it manually, we are aligned to the gravity direction. But our gravity is not being applied. I wonder if this gravity direction doesn't update in runtime. I see 0, but no button to start download. You gotta click Patreon. Click the Patreon link. So I get it. I get it. We need to not use the area 3Ds to do gravity. So point works fine for planets. and they work fine statically. See, I am being drawn down. But here's the problem. This is the problem. Click the Patreon link and do what? Log in. Right? If we enter all, and then it should just start patching. So what's going to happen? This is going to turn me upside down and push me up. So it's going to correctly align me. Or not. That just aligned me to the world. Yeah, so it's aligning me to, yeah, okay, yeah. That's what I figured. Ball. Continuing to Google doesn't work. On Patreon itself? Just go to Patreon and log in first. And if we enter the station, yeah, so it's upside down. So I still think the minus is done on this. Right, head towards 1. What way? Nish. Right, so negatives is down in Y. So negative Y at a positive gravity value. It's weird. Did it work after fusion? Because once you're on like the Patreon site, it should be all like Patreon from that point forward in whatever your default browser is. There shouldn't really be anything that we need to do on our side. Yeah, this is still like not taking the local gravity into consideration. Quick question, are you bad at animation? I think so. Yeah, because now it's bringing us up. Do you own a VR headset? I do, yeah. Yeah, alignment's fine, but the way gravity is being overwritten is not working. There's a plugin that lets you animate using your VR. Oh, cool. No. No, not for the testing of the patch, no. Crap. So this, oh, okay. So that's annoying. So the Area 3D's gravity properties are always based upon their position in the world. So they really can't be used like, as a gravity override. Like for a planet, it's fine because the gravity will be a point and the planet will never move, it'll just rotate. But I would actually have to, for the ship gravity areas, I would have to change the gravity direction every physics frame if I wanted it to be relative. Because as the ship is moving around, that's annoying. In which case, we're better off just aligning the player ourselves on integrate forces. Or wait until the physics the zone system's in. Because alignment is fine, gravity is fine. So what I could do, what I might get, let's not actually use the gravity. Just the alignment. Yeah, I have a bunch of stuff for hand animations too. I just never really got like I haven't really got that far into it. Yeah, so I'll need to manually do the gravity for the ship gravity volume. But this will be the fix for now. Cool. Just so that bug is fixed. So it's still going to be a bit jank in 0G. Especially when we're still in a gravity area and we're still falling. Bye, shit. Is patching? Cool. Right, and then we want to do align. That should still be... very different, very difficult on Steam Deck controller support. There was controller support at one point. D-pad for weapons. I mean, I never removed any of it. Is it not emulating an Xbox controller? Or is it the menus that are not, like, working? Yeah, it should be the same. So it's just whatever. Set gravity area. This needs to be changed. All files are now downloaded. How do I run the game? Just go to settings. It should be installed in, I think it's like whatever you're, I'm not sure where Proton puts things, but there should be like an apps Unforgiven space game folder that it gets installed into. I'm not sure how that will work, like, because it's not Windows. You might have the browser around. Let's look up here. You're missing some QOL opportunities. It does do that. You're running an old version of the launcher. It has a play button now. And it verifies if the game has already been downloaded. Ray tracing needs verification. And Fusion, do you have access to the ClickUp? Everything on the ClickUp gets pushed. Needs verification and congrats toast. Oh, for when it's created. Alright, work, gravity. You're DMing, I'm not sure what the start. Yeah. It's black on Steam, babe. Gotcha. We're about to do some multi-crew here. Okay, that aligned. Just want to see the planet gravity now works in multiplayer. Then I'll be happy with that. Okay, we're not falling over. No. No. Why? Still doing it. I'm rich though. It's got no gravity area, and we're trying to set it. So does the network version of the ship not have the ship gravity area. It is a ship. We are on gravity areas. We have our array of rigid bodies. Gravity space is disabled. Launcher. Do. Build exports. Just update the one that's in program files if you can. Ooh. Mr. Fusion. Try that one. Anyway, guys, it's almost 1. I'm gonna get ready to go have lunch here in just a little bit. Right, this is trying to set it to something that doesn't exist. Unless the planet doesn't have here. This might actually be done. The planet itself is probably not set up. Planet test. As planet gravity area. Gravity point is 0. You're in? Nice. The distance at which gravity is trying to equal to gravity, for example, if on a planet 100 meters from radius, with a surface gravity of 4 meters per second, set the gravity to 4 and the unit distance for 100. Oh, it'll actually fall off. Like sometimes like these areas are amazing, and then other times it's like dumb. Yeah, to put your credentials in again. That's only for just patching. There's no commonality. Like the launcher doesn't know anything about the game. It just downloads the game. Right? There's no separate, like totally separate project. Yeah, is it not like aligning? application area on a non-authority for the shipbuilding. Oh shit, cool. Join, which server are you on? Are you on the dedicated server right now? Did you uncheck local? Or are you just playing locally? Yeah, but if you didn't uncheck local, you're just playing with yourself. Where are you? I don't see you in here. Go to multiplayer and uncheck local. Uncheck local. Join. I'm assuming this is you here. You're this other player. Yeah. Take out your weapon. D-pad. Non-look joystick. Should be your left stick should be, hang on, let me, because this right hand joystick no move. Okay. Apparently it's dead. Here, let me steal my mouse for a second. Do you have any other joystick plugged in? Do you need a custom that? No. Yeah, because tab works, this works. D-pad, 1, 2, 3. What could be a workaround for the issue? Hang on 1 second. There's no tab on controller. What do you mean? It's just the arrow key. It's just the buttons. I'm using the controller right now, but you're right. It's not that left mouse is not working. Like hit like select button works. I'm like choosing this. Yeah, the only thing that's not working is the mouse look with the controller. And I don't know if the mouse is like overriding. I just unplugged my mouse to regarding the 3D. What's up? Pad is cool. No, whatever. Just thanks. Oh, it's working now. Okay, okay, cool. Yeah. I had to plug it in for a second, and now it's working. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so why is the look not working? Why is the mouse look not working? Where are the D-pad? Are the controls not set up? Jump works. Yeah, it's like everything except for the. Can you test single player Fusion? I'm just gonna see if it works here in single player now. Oh, okay, what? It works. It works in single player. What? Yeah, well, when I leave here in a second, I'm gonna stop the stream and I'll be in. So go to test world in the multiplayer window and see if test world works. And if test world works, then I'll get everything else going, because all of this, including jump, should be testable in single player. Like you should be able to play the whole thing, including, like, you know, snapping off all the components. It's all like now working on hold. Can't type here and play at the same time. Oh my god. What's warp? Did I add warp to multiplayer? Hang on. I'm in advice for next. So all the controls work except for warp. Warp is like pre-controls. I think warp is going to be pressing down on the mouse button and holding it. Yeah, that'd be cool. Okay, and it also, menu doesn't work on controller when you're in the ship. All right, well, I'll pop in voice and we'll chat about it. If you guys want to join in, hopefully exclamation point Discord and chat, or just go to unforgivenspace.com. That'll forward you to the Discord. And then I'm gonna go end it here on YouTube, and I'll find someone to raid. Yeah, YouTube stream never actually started. I guess it did. There we go.